Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to join in fellowship, and especially this opportunity to further peace amongst all our Vietnam family. We ask that you give us the wisdom and grace to do the best that we can with the talents that you've given us. We especially ask that you protect all our armed forces, all those serving overseas, all our first offenders, all those in harm's way, and that you bring peace within their families and bring them home. And lastly, as we go about the business of bringing the wall into Huntsville, we ask that you motivate us and give us the talent and the time to bring true healing to all that need healing. Amen.
Thank you, Norm. I'm going to do a couple quick announcements before we get going. Richard Grimes is over here, and he is videoing. He is our historian, so he's not trying to get faces to put you on Facebook or anything like that. But anyways, he's on our side, so he's going to be collecting all that history and everything. Last meeting, he videotaped, put it online, so for those who didn't make the meeting, they can go online and actually review the whole meeting. We have coffee on my right, your left. We have water back there. We have flyers. We have the business cards. Anything that you need to go ahead and promote this event, grab it when you leave. Other than that, let's go to our next slide. I want to welcome Mr. Brian Moran. Brian, could you stand, sir? Brian Major, I'm sorry.
Mr. Brian, I've been called work.
Major Moran is our POC to Redstone Arsenal. So thank you for coming, sir. And he's going to be also working with our Medal of Honor recipients. So welcome aboard, sir. Thank you for joining our team. And next slide, and we have special honors today in the Redstone Rocket. This releases Wednesday. We have Zig. Zig, raise your hand in case you guys haven't met Zig yet. Zig was interviewed, that's his article there, and also in the article it also mentions the wall. So Zig, thanks for the promotional. We appreciate that. And let's see, okay, Walt, next slide please. And this is our video, and Jennifer, can we pull that up? We didn't practice this, so let's see how it goes. Go to make it full screen in the lower right.
No. This is the left of the horizontal.
Yep.
It's a different experience to see it. I've seen a lot of pictures of it all over, done a lot of reading about it, but it brings back a lot of memories. But this kids need something to stand up for, and this is part of it because everybody gives their life for something sooner or later.
Vietnam era, everybody that taught me anything in the Army were Vietnam veterans. They were my teachers and my mentors. I think this country owes them a great debt of gratitude for what they went through and what they did.
you, Jennifer. We have 2 more meetings after this meeting, and we will be at the event 2 more meetings like this. So, next on our list, we've got an exciting presentation for all of you today. We have a whole
Vietnam
bunch
Veterans
of.
Memorial Fund many years ago created a replica of the wall that travels to communities around the country that we call the Wall That Heals. This mobile replica really is about taking the names home
Oh, I
to
didn't see that one.
communities large and small to allow people to have that.
We'll have to play that next time. Okay, we've got an exciting program. We've got 67 slides in today's presentation, so we're going to go through them as quickly as we can. So first up is going to be operations with Mr. Noah Myers. Thank you.
Good morning. We should. There we go. Hello? Good morning. All right, we may have a lot of slides, but we're going to go through them quick. I think it'll be okay, Pete. Next slide. Just a few things here, working with the city, and any city folks here this morning? Hey, thank you, Super. Give them a round of applause. I got to tell you, one of the bright spots every day is when it's in dealing. You folks can't be any better. You're up there, and our sincere thanks to you. You're going to see some pictures here in a second of the area out here as it exists today under construction. But just a couple things on this here. This chart's really maturing very nicely. We are going to have some cones right along here for our carts. We'll have a series of these carts to move anybody that's handicapped, 6 passenger, 4 passengers, up and down here. One change over here, after talking with the city, this will be strictly staff parking and limited to VIP, anybody special for the JC function down there. This will not be open to the public, so this will be controlled access, and we'll even show you a picture of the construction that's ongoing there. So,
Does that include volunteers for staff or not?
no, good point. And right here, if you notice on my chart, forgot to mention it, at staff parking. So we want all the staff to park down there, and then they'll either be brought up in one of the carts or they can walk up. This is only like 850 feet down here, and 700 feet plus to get up to here. But the whole thrust of everything we're doing is to make sure anybody with a cane, a wheelchair, that needs, any device that needs to roll, is that once they enter the archway here and go in. We're in the process right now of finalizing with the city what this walkway is going to be like. We have these 4x8, actually 4x6, I should say, horse stable mats. And they're about $45 a piece if you buy them. The city has 130 of them, and depending on whether we lay them 4-foot or the 6-foot around this, we have sufficient, or we may have to buy a couple. We're also looking at potential for crushed rock, and then put those mats on top of there. And we're also looking at a couple other. But I can guarantee you this will be no problem for people to navigate around. The POWMIA table is being built for us by Arlen Busk. He's a carpenter. He does a real nice job, and we'll have a little light there for nighttime as well. The intent is to put the van right here, and the city is currently working with the fire marshal on how we will tie it down as opposed to staking it in the street, which we will not do. I think that's really all the major changes on this for the time being. Our welcoming ceremony will be done right here. That'll be the only event that's actually done inside the tent, but we will have 3 tents here. We'll be storing some of the carts and stuff in one, and then there'll be overflow and some places to sit down and eat and so forth in there. We'll have coffee in there, a little hospitality table. We're going to take care of the staff. That includes the city, you guys too. You get to drink our coffee and all that. And we've got several companies going to help us with that, and some water. Okay, so to keep this moving, let's go to the next one. You can see we're looking down now. We're in the parking lot up in Joe Davis Stadium. I'm right at the edge of the street here shooting. What is that? That's south. And you can see these beautiful landscaping poles here. They're lights. They're really, really nice. Okay, next. They're about 75 feet between each one of them. So you see the JC building. So just to orient you here, this is where the The ceremony will be done the very first night. The wall is actually behind me. Go to the next slide. So what I did here, the tent that I was talking about is across the street. JC Way is this way. We were inside. There's certain areas they didn't want us to walk in, but you get an idea of what this is going to look like. The archway, you'd be coming in the archway, walking this way out towards where the wall is going to be. And it's got some really nice stone. It's going to be very, very, very nice. We'll have a visitor's table there, a place for people to sign in if they want to do that. And we'll also be keeping count of folks that enter to see the wall that heals. Next slide. And what you're looking at now is this is the furthest back that the wall would be. It's going to be somewhere in this area right here. So you would actually be looking at the walls, 375 feet. Total, the apex is going to be somewhere in that area there. They're currently doing a lot of work out there, putting electrical lines in and so forth, so we'll have no issue with power. You see the fence behind up here? That's one of the concerns the folks up north had. They want us to be able to control access. The city's going to provide us fencing that will go down JC Way to a point, and then we'll have this nice little chain on poles to make sure folks enter the archway. Next slide. Again, this is the other view as if you were standing where the apex of the wall is and you're looking at the entrance to the archway. It's about 115 feet there. Next slide. And over at the JC building, you can see all the work being done here. They're putting in more lights and they're paving that, so we should have adequate parking for the staff and the VIPs that go to the Vietnam Lecture Series anniversary. Next slide. All right, so my guys are going to cover, Al's got several schedule slides, but the idea here is just to give you an update on them, not to go through each and every one. And Arlen was here this morning. Let me talk for him just 1 second. He's responsible for the welcoming ceremony and the field service at the end. And there's really nothing new there. We're keeping the same approach to that, keep it simple. The field service will be done near the wall. That's the only time that we'll have anything super special going on inside there. Arlen had to go home sick this morning, so he's not here. So Al, why don't you give us a quick update on schedule? Any questions for me? While I'm at it, would you stand up, Rick? Rick's our logistician, just for anybody new here. Blame him if we don't have the right lock stuff. John Mays is handling the volunteer database, the Sign Up Genius as it's called, and he's the genius behind the genius, right? Let's see, who else we got here? Any of my others? Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Ralph. Ralph is our security guy, and he will pester never mind. He needs more people too, so here's Al.
Oh, thank you, Norm. First slide, please. This is also going to be a recruiting plea this morning. If you decide you'd like to spend 4 hours in the Ops Center, please jot down my email address. If you don't have time to jot it down, please contact Norm. We still need volunteers for the Ops headquarters. Next slide. We're on track to get those Operation Manual volunteers done. The next all hands meeting is on the 14th of September. John Ferrer will remind us at the end. That other stuff is on track. Next slide. Okay, October. Ralph Harris has got his security training scheduled during those dates that you see there, 7, 17, 19 October, as well as that law enforcement escort coordination meeting at the Redstone Harley Davidson location on Madison on I-565 out there. Other than that, no changes. Next slide, please. There's continued with Ralph's security training. We're going to have an Ops headquarters orientation on the 29th of October. That's Monday. That will probably be in the JC building sometime later that afternoon time. That's when we'll do the orientation for the Ops headquarters personnel and the volunteer category shift leads. If anyone else would like to come to that, please, you're certainly welcome to come to get the briefings on what to do with the inclement weather, bomb scares, bomb threats, excuse me, active shooter, those kinds of subjects that we need to go over with our ops personnel. And you're certainly welcome to come to that orientation. It'll be about an hour to 2 hours. We'll have one that afternoon, probably in the late afternoon hours, because you'll see there the next day after we establish the operations headquarters. Next slide, please. we'll do another orientation from 13 to 1400 out, but I don't want a 1300 on Monday for those people that can't make that time. Those times for the wall arriving are still not confirmed yet. After they do get confirmed, we'll certainly let y'all know. No other changes on that slide except Mr. Perry has graciously volunteered his organization to set up and tear down the wall now. So that those volunteers or those people will be coming from John Perry's organization here, his company. Next slide, please. And there's no changes on the November schedule. I'll let you glance down that. Any questions on the November schedule? Did this turn on?
Maybe the batteries, let me give you
Are there any questions on the November schedule? Yes, sir.
When are the volunteers who are doing the education things, either at the education center or at the wall, going to be trained?
There is an orientation. Back up one slide, please. There is an orientation on the afternoon of the 31st down there. 31st. Next slide. Back up. Somehow that got dropped off there. That's a good question, sir, and thank you for bringing that to my attention. After the orientation training of 13 to 1400 hours, you see that, the makeup. We anticipate that training to be there that afternoon. The time to be determined. And thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. It was on last month, and somehow it got dropped on the schedule.
Okay, so
they get back up there. Now, those people are also certainly invited.
Let me help you a second.
Go ahead.
There's going to be training done by the folks that bring the truck and trailer. They put it in place that afternoon. We're still waiting to confirm when the truck is going to be here. But we can't tell you what time, but that's one set of training. Al's also mentioned several other opportunities. Security's doing their training. Al's going to do some of his own training. I have a list of about 6 different categories that we're going to train by extension. We're going to give it to all the leads. They're going to take the slides. Emotional response, how do you handle it? Active shooter, how do you handle it? You get the idea. So more on that. We just don't have it all locked down at this point. But trust me, we'll have more struggle getting the people to training than the training materials themselves.
Yeah, that's actually on the 31st, and I stand corrected. That is down there at TBD. You see that BVMF training? That's that time that I just talked about. It is on the schedule right now. That BVMF training from the people up north, the ambassadors, the education, the volunteers. But that is, just for that. Certainly, I'll emphasize again that if anyone wants to come to that ops training that we're going to have orientation, they're certainly welcome to come to that as well. So,
can you, on all these training sessions, can you, to the best of your ability, not have overlap? Because we have people, myself and others, signed up for multiple volunteer jobs, and if you have all the training at the same time, we're going to have to pick and choose which one to go to.
This training that we have for the Ops Center is actually two sessions of the same training. So that will be either that Monday or that Tuesday. And if you can't make a training like that, please let us know what would be a good time for you, because we're looking for that feedback of when you can.
Right. I know you got the ops. I'm talking about all the other 4 or 5 different jobs. I guess they're going to schedule training sessions.
I have
like ambassadors and emotional support and the education trailer and all that stuff.
Right.
Are they going to schedule separate training events?
It's unknown at this time. I have offered in my coordination with the other volunteer category personnel that are underneath John Mays, and we're really talking about John Mays sort of kind of area right now. I have talked with them, email, and offered them and let them know, hey, if you want to conduct training for your personnel, this is when we're tentatively scheduling the training for the Ops Center. I would recommend you come to the Ops Center training at one of those times, and then train your personnel after you come to the Ops Center training during the 30th or the 31st.
The Ops Center is going to cover it all.
Pardon me, sir?
The Ops Center is going to cover all areas.
We are going to cover the Ops Center and the emergency action. We're not going to cover what, the other specific parking area, driving the carts, what to do on the wall. Charlie Miller, I guess, is not here. how he's gonna train his emotional volunteers that are gonna be on the wall. That's up to those leads, and I have encouraged them to get with me to let me know what time they're gonna conduct that training so we can get it on the schedule.
On all those, we are looking at those, all the different sections, and looking where we can best do that and when we can best do that. That'll be published just as quick as we know what it is.
You sent me a draft copy of the ops manual the other day, Alan,
Okay.
right?
Your name again?
Marshall Eubanks.
Okay, I sent you probably a piece of the operations manual that only covered the duties and responsibilities of the operations.
You sent me the draft volunteer guide.
Got volunteer guide, a little 12, okay.
It was the whole thing. It
Right.
covered all areas.
Right.
My comment on that is, I believe that people are reluctant to sign up for some of those jobs because they don't know what those jobs consist of. That manual you sent me is very good, lays out specifically what every volunteer area's job is and what they have to do. I would highly recommend that you post that draft on the site, and I know you told me that you wanted, it was gonna be evolving, but I think that's gonna help people sign up if they can read what the duties and responsibilities are. It is good, it's got good stuff in it, and
Absolutely concur, and I have sent that volunteer guide in the staffing process to those volunteer category shift points of contact. So the points of contact have copies of that as it was being developed and had a chance to comment on that document as it has gotten to this time. All we're waiting on now is, again, what they want to do on how they want to train, and we're finishing up the volunteer guide right now to have it published by the end of this month. It's just about ready to publish now. There's just one or two little things we need to, final touch-up things we got to do, and then we'll be able to publish the final volunteer guide. What you got is a draft, pretty much a final draft. Now, I did call our attention to the. I'll let you go right here. You call our attention to the ops manual. There's a separate ops manual that we're going to have. What happened was we got building the volunteer guide got to be 50 pages. So we broke off the operations manual away from the volunteer guide, and I've got a paper copy of the volunteer guide here, and Don, of how it is right now, you want to give it to John or Norm. But if you volunteer or think you want to volunteer for the ops headquarters, send me an email, and I will send you a draft copy of the volunteer guide. As a Benny, you don't need to let me know that you're going to volunteer yet, but if you email me, I will send you out a draft copy of the volunteer guide. The ops manual is a very more detailed, thorough manual that will talk about the emergency action plans, what to do, as I said, for all those, an active shooter, bomb threats, keeping the guide, how to handle supplies, just a number of other areas that all volunteers don't need to know about. Go ahead.
Okay. I agree with you that that needs to be posted. There's a very, very brief description in there as is, but it's very, very brief. I can go ahead and post the draft, and then with TBDs in there where they're necessary, and then we'll come back and post the final version of that. But yeah, that's a very, very good point.
yeah, I just think that people are reluctant because they don't know what to do, and I think it's pretty good. You got a lot of specifics under each one of those areas.
Yeah, I've heard that a couple times this morning already. So
Okay, I'm gonna be the bad guy, all right? In the essence of time, it's a work in progress, and I'm the bad guy. I am not ready to put it on the web. It's going to go on the web, probably next week sometime, but we have not had time to sit down and go through it, and thank you for all your positive comments about it. This document he's talking about is a volunteer guide. Al's worked very, very hard to keep all the minutia crap out of it. We're running it through security, we're running it here and there. We'll get that out, and if people go to the web, they can look and say, oh, okay, now I can go volunteer. I want to do that. You know, but it's very, very, very high level. And on your question about training, if Ralph is conducting, Ralph, where are you? Yeah. If Ralph's conducting security training, he's going to have the slides for emotional response, active shooter, he's going to have all those extra things. So if they get the training there, it's honor system. The same way, we do not have to have the police go through and find out who are felons. We are going to have a sheet of paper a lawyer gave us. It's called an attestation form. everybody's going to be given an opportunity to volunteers to sign that form. It's honor system. You're signing the form, it'll have some verbiage at the top of the form, multiple places for signatures, and it will say, I am not a felon. I do not have a criminal record. Now, could some slip through? Sure. Are we doing due diligence? Yes. Do we need to go out? We will not. No one will allow a child, a student, to be in a room with any one of us by ourselves. That's your charter. You cannot let that happen. We don't intend for it to happen, so the spirit and intent here is you can sign up and say, I'm not a felon, we don't want to offend anybody, but if we have a felon, they absolutely cannot be working with kids. All right? One more thing while I'm still standing up here, excuse me 1 second. Wi-Fi. We are looking into Wi-Fi. Don't know if we're going to have it or not, but you can download the app to look up the wall and who's on it and what panel it's on and the number and so forth. So you might want to look at that and give it a try on your phones, because it may come in handy when we're out there doing our job. Okay, we got to move on.
Next slide, please. Okay, no changes on 1 through 4 November. Next slide, please. And then again, Mr. Perry has graciously accepted tearing down the wall and getting us on the plate. The op center will be operational through 5 November as we get out of the area. Any questions, comments, board, please?
Yeah.
That's it. I'll be followed by John May.
Okay, Al, thank you. Norm, let me interrupt a quick second here. We have a very important person to the team, a very important additional legal advisor, Mary Scott Hunter. I want to introduce you to the group and also the group to her. If we have any legal issues, and we've already called her in on a couple occasions asking about the very thing we're talking about. Mary Scott, want to say a couple words?
Only that I think you covered it. I drafted the attestation clause, and what it basically, it is an honor system, but I don't think you all need to. I think the risk is pretty low because we're going to know most of the people that are coming in contact with children. But we also need to make sure that we're not going anywhere alone with them and that we do our due diligence. So we're doing this attestation clause. We did a little tabletop risk assessment at the last meeting of the core committee and identified a number of risks that were pretty well covered. We covered insurance needs, we covered FOD and debris on the ground, which is covered by ops, we covered weather, we covered tornadic activity, we covered a lot of things, and pretty much there was a plan on the ops side for everything that I could think of. So if there's a risk that you think of, something that we can't predict everything, but if you can think of something and pass it along, please, because we need to try to cover as many risks as we possibly can. But I feel very confident based on what y'all are doing and the number of tabletops we've had and discussions we've had that we've done our best and done our due diligence to cover our risks. So I feel confident about that. But again, if you have questions or if there's something I can do to help take this along and help it along, I'm happy to do that, and John knows how to reach me.
For those of you who do not know Mary Scott Hunter, she is a veteran, Air Force veteran. Thank you for your service, and an attorney. So thank you again for being our legal advisor.
Happy to do it.
Okay, Norm, back to you.
Okay, John?
Okay, good morning. Just a couple quick things. If you see the screen in front of me, showed about less than 16% people that I've got on the sign-up list currently. That could be possibly because of us not having good descriptions as to what the jobs are going to entail. So we'll work diligently after this meeting to make sure that there is those descriptions that get in there and get set up so that everybody can see it. So we'll move it on. But on the 20th, we're going to send that on out. It's going to be going out to the NASA, the Lockheeds, you name it, around the world to look for additional volunteers. We're just hoping initially to get as many veterans as possible. That's still a hope, and we'll use as many veterans as we possibly can on that. If you need to get to the sign-up page, there's some cards. I've got the cards. I've put them some over here on the desk. You can get those. It's a real quick and easy way to get there. You can scan it onto your phone, and it'll take you right out to the sign-up site and everything else. But other than that, things have moved along. And I know a lot of people are waiting. Okay, what am I going to be doing November 1st through 4th? They don't know for sure what they're going to be doing yet. So, they've held back from volunteering. We're down, like John says, 2 more meetings. And the second meeting we have from now is almost the day of the event. So we're running out of time. So we'll get everybody we can as quick as we can now, and then we'll move on. Yes, sir.
Have you put any information in the local newspapers about signing up volunteerism for this event?
I have not.
We
That
need
would-
to.
Yeah,
You are
exactly.
way behind the power curve.
Well, yeah, that would fall under another category to put it into the newspaper,
needs to.
but it needs to happen, yes.
The local public is not aware of all this.
Listen, we focused on veterans organizations.
We need to
Let
go
me
wider.
finish. That's where we started. They had first shot. All right, we didn't get the response we thought we were gonna get. The 20th of this month, we've asked Dave Carney to put out a blurb to everywhere to talk to them about, the news media, the papers, everything. Now, Major Moran, where are you, sir? Would you stand up? He is our conduit to our golden egg, which is the Arsenal. And all the folks over there. We have not worked hard, the Redstone Rocket. So you see the path we're going down to? We took care of vets first. They wanted that opportunity to serve first. They got first crack. All those companies that are giving us the great money, they might want to put more stake in the game, some skin in the game. We have not gone out and made the phone call saying, thank you for your we did with you guys, $10,000 to Intuitive. They're doing their setup. But we've got a plan here, and the Major and I are going to meet next week to talk about now how we go after all the, how many thousand, 60,000 people out there, something like that?
35, sir.
35,000, you see how I'm dated. But thank you, that's where we're going. I'm convinced we're going to get there. You know, there's some hesitation, I guess, many people we hear, it's just too soon. I'm just not ready to sign up yet. I don't know what I'm going to be doing for sure, which day, which hours, but I think we're going to get there. Sorry, John.
Any other questions?
Can I make just a observation on the website, the Wall to Heal HSV? It was not easy to find a link to the sign up genius off that site. At least I missed it. The way I found it was just, I happened to click on the big VBA logo and it takes you there. But there's not a link on the main website that takes you to the sign up thing, which I don't know whether you wanted to do that or just.
We can add one on the homepage. It's a volunteer page is where the link is.
Are you sure?
On the website.
When I clicked on the volunteer, it says volunteer.
Right.
And when I clicked on that, it brought up some other page. Maybe I missed it, but you might take.
It's that first image at the top of the page. If you click it takes you to the sign up genius, and there's a blurb underneath it that explains that. I can move that to the top.
Okay, I missed it. It just wasn't all that obvious, I guess, to the old guys.
Well, she's our expert, she'll take a look at it, okay, Jen?
Well, that's because you're still using grease pencil and
Yeah.
pressure board.
What's wrong?
I know, it works.
Question back here.
White out.
One recommendation on getting volunteers is make some type of form available that you can put up like JRTC units all over the place. What that does is it gives that instructor a list of names to follow up on. If you just go for the website, they don't have the automatic in-the-hand control of those kids. So if you did something like that, one hard copy that could be posted in different places, I think it'll be useful for organizations that might contribute, so the leader can ensure those folks get there.
Good suggestion. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, that would be me. On my security teams that I'm putting together, they're 4-hour shifts. We need 4-person, 6-person, 10-person shifts. As of now, out of my 250 positions, I've got about 150 filled. Okay, so I'm about 60% filled. What I'm doing, I'm going to veterans organization motorcycle clubs, for instance, like Hal here. He represents the Rolling Thunder Motorcycle Club.
No, it's not a motorcycle club.
Okay, it is a...
It's a 501c4 veterans support organization.
That have to ride motorcycles.
I don't.
Okay. Again, Hal is the representative. He has signed up his organization to support a specific shift or a specific number of people. And I've got a lot of groups that have already signed up for that. I still need some more. So if you have a group of people, an organization that would like to support a shift, come see me or jot down my email address and I will tell you what shifts we have available. Our role out there is site security while the wall is on site. Site security, okay? We are going to maintain the dignity of the site and make sure anybody who visits the site has a safe and memorable experience. We have 4 training sessions. Individuals who are volunteering only have to attend one of them. They're going to be scheduled for the weekends, and we got weekday training sessions. So we'll put all that out to the points of contact like Hal, who then will get the names and then notify those individuals when the training is. And as we get closer to the date, then we will lock in the specific names. I don't need 10 names if you sign up for a 10-person shift. I just need a commitment from your organization that you will support it when the time comes. So if you're interested in doing that, see me afterwards or jot down my phone number, my email address. I'll be glad to share with you the latest schedule. Yesterday, John Perry sent out an email to a lot of people that had the latest information. If you didn't see it yesterday, you might want to go try to find it, and you can contact me because it has the specifics as far as the shifts we need help on at this point. Okay. Any questions? Sorry, Hal.
Okay, we got the handheld mic, we got new batteries in it, so we're up and running again.
Good morning. My name is Rick Laws. I guess I was introduced earlier. I'm an old retired warrant officer, old box kicker kind of guy. And I've worked with Norm and several other people here in the audience in my past life. In our signage mission here, we try to go with a couple of considerations so we don't come across looking like a carnival atmosphere, and try to keep things in a very respectful and nice way. We also looking at trying to keep the cost down. So, the signage thing is a little bit more of an endeavor than you might imagine, because I don't know what a sign costs. Well, I do now, but I didn't in the beginning. So I got some estimates from various people with our best case test plan. The price was way too high, so our plan has been trimmed. We've consolidated some things, and we're refining it to a point where we're getting very close to be able to make a procurement for what we're going to use on the area to control the people and give them information that they need. Next slide, please. Basically, if we make a sign, they're all going to be kind of the same thing. They're going to be white with a blue border and the walls, a logo at the bottom. The A-frame devices are just big plastic things like you see these kids' play sets, and then you can remove the placards and put in new placards. So any of these A-frame devices that we buy, you can set them up in the middle of the road, and people, they're big enough people will see them and hold the information, but you can also reuse them for other purposes. And Step 6 is basically a wire frame sign that you would have in front of your real estate holding. So, next slide, please. We're looking at a "You Are Here" sign, basically like when you go to the shopping mall and you want to know where you are. We're looking at 3 of those. One of those is going to be at the operations center to use as a guide to direct people and point to it, whoever happens to might need directions. The other 2 will be at each end of J.C. Way. And I have a rough example on the other side. So basically, the sign that Norm showed you earlier, we kind of taken that and then condensed it down, took the planning data off, and we're going to make it very basic so a person in a crowd could find utility in it. So next slide, please. Basically, this is a notional site layout with a sign, and this particular slide got crunched up. It looked a little nicer than that before. Anyway, it's going to have 3 pieces of information on it. One, the code of conduct portion is up here on the right top left side. And then it's gonna point to these other three main other events, the trailer, the JC building, and the Veterans Museum. It'll be something in this, but a little bit nicer, because I'm not the artist that the sign people are. But that's gonna be a basic start for it. Next slide, please. This is kind of the information for the code of conduct sign. The information is gonna be on there. The picnic coolers and some of those other things you might see in Panoply, we felt they were unnecessary, so some of those were removed. Next slide. These signs come with the Wall That Heals trailer, so we didn't have to make a procurement for those. So those signs will be on the pathways and in the gateway entrance areas. Next slide, please. There's also some small signage that's there. The facilities information media tent, the operations area, and the handicap shuttle, those will basically be tent banners that will be tied to the edge of the tent. It's very economical, got grommets, you can just fasten with wire ties or paracord or something. There's some other smaller signs that we'll have, because we're putting in new bathrooms in that area, we want to direct people where the bathrooms are. The directions to the bathroom, and also the Veterans Museum locations and the JC building locations at the end of JC Way if you're coming down one end, a point left and right. Also, there's some cartage where the pedestrian traffic, say pedestrians stay on this side and carts stay on that side. Those will be on A-frames, as I've mentioned earlier. Next slide. That's it. Anybody have any other considerations for signage or anything that's related to this? Just drop me or Norm an email, or you can discuss it after the meeting. Thank you.